Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Kurious Kast. Today I've got a very special guest with me and he's also a dear friend of mine, Steven from On-Demand High Pressure Cleaning. How are you going today?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. So just give everyone a bit of context about Steven. Steven's got a very successful high pressure cleaning business that also does concrete sealing as well. So he's got a very interesting story, managed to use social media in a lot of ways to leverage his business as well and grow it from nothing to quite a successful business. So what I would like to do is give the audience, Steven, a little bit of context about you, who you are, where you came from, and how you got to here before we kind of get into the intricacies of your business. So I guess tell us a little bit about yourself.
So basically, I'm 35 years old now. Back in the days, I used to do a bit of electrical work, with a couple of friends of mine and whatnot. From there, I jumped into concreting with my brother, and then my other brother was doing pressure cleaning. Him and a very good friend of his as well. So basically, I was jumping on with them too, learning pressure cleaning and whatnot. So over the years, my brother's friend decided to sell his business. Then my brother, built a business, ran it for a bit. I was still doing concreting. And then after that, he stopped kind of working on the pressure cleaning side. So I back then already had a bit of customers. So I thought, why not take over his business kind of thing? And just keep operating, keep my customers happy and keep doing that work because I was starting to really enjoy it. So from there, his business was called Dial D-Blaster. Obviously, it's still operating now. So I ran that for a good couple of years. I made a decision, obviously when I met my missus, we kind of like got engaged. And then when we got engaged, I kind of separated from my brother's business and opened my own. That's when I started On Demand. So On Demand was basically formed in 2021. But from there...
So in business terms, that's not a very long time.
It's not.
No.
It's not. But before that, I had already a lot of experience and a lot of years back behind me, especially with clientele. So I took over all my clientele to On Demand. Does that make sense? So, basically On Demand started in 2021 and I've built it to where it is now. So I was specializing in high pressure cleaning. And then along the lines, back when I was a bit younger, I decided, someone asked me to seal their driveway. So I thought, okay, why not, I sealed it and ever since then, I just fell in love with what I do. So I basically added concrete sealing to my service as well. And then I brought it along with me to On Demand. And I think it was like probably last year or the year before, kind of, kept doing what I was doing. One of my videos went viral. We had 10.5 million views. And I feel like back then, no one really knew what concrete sealing was.
It seems to have blown up in the last couple of years or in the last probably 12 months. Everyone seems to be doing exactly what you're doing right now. But I guess before we get into that, and I've seen some of these videos that you've done have gone viral, and these videos, it's like the ones where you watch where people are cutting really long grass. It kind of just... or the pressure cleaning ones where, they're cleaning a driveway. It does something to your brain and your OCD where you're like, oh, that's a really satisfying video to watch. So how did you figure that out? Like what made you think to yourself, because like a lot of, especially in Australia, I notice a lot of Aussie business owners really discount the power and the value of social media. So looking at your business, what made you think, okay, social media is where because no one was doing it. So what made you think social media is where I need to be? And this is exactly what I need to do to attract new customers. What made you start making those videos?
To be quite honest with you, I wasn't really deep into social media. I actually was doing heaps of work in concrete sealing and I wasn't really posting my content. I never really had the feel for social media back then. I only just started posting probably like in 2022 or 2023. I started posting a lot. And then, from there, I just kind of kept growing and growing. And
did you see? But what I mean is, like, for you to start posting, what was what drove you to do that? Was it that you thought there's probably an opportunity here with with maybe generating some interest in your business? Like, what was it?
Look, to be quite honest, I actually didn't like post because I wanted to generate more leads or anything like that at that time. Like, I started posting because I felt like people wanted to see my work.
Yep.
And kind of showcase.
So it was, you only really did it as to create a portfolio of work.
Yeah, correct. Correct.
And then it's obviously turned into something else now. So that first video that went viral, how did that happen and what was it?
Look, I don't know. I honestly don't know how it happened. I was just sealing a driveway. And yeah, I just posted it, and then next thing you know, I started getting thousands of views, thousands of likes, and next thing you know, I'm at 10.5 million views. And you know, like, it's just crazy. And then ever since then, I had so many people calling me, saying that my videos inspired them to get into concrete sealing, and a lot of people asking me questions and, you know, things like that. But I feel back then, nobody had a clue what what concrete sealing was.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of guys that do concrete sealing were basically concreters. But when I started, I didn't see any high pressure cleaners add concrete sealing to their service.
Which now, when you think back at it, it's like a no-brainer. Like, you're already cleaning the concrete.
Correct.
Like, the next thing is you just seal it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just another service to upsell.
Correct.
Kind of thing.
But like now, really, like no one really, like everyone at least I know that does it, doesn't really, like, that engages someone like you for their services, doesn't really do the pressure cleaning bit without the sealing bit. No. It's kind of like a given now. But back then, you've obviously had the foresight to think, okay, I need to post on social media.
Yeah.
And then you've also had the foresight to say, before that even, to say, okay, I really need to look at what other services I can add to my business to help grow the revenue. So like, that's good credit to you. Like, the way you've been thinking, a lot of business owners don't necessarily, one, they discount social media completely, thinking it's not going to do anything for their business. And two, they're not really thinking of like, what can I add to what I already do that's going to add to these services and to the revenue. So that's really good. So when was the moment you realized that the likes and the views, you could turn them into money?
I think that probably happened maybe the start of last year.
Yeah.
Or the year before that. Honestly, like I mentioned, I didn't really have that intention to kind of expand my social media into doing what I'm doing now. But, you know, it's just you got to get with the times kind of thing. Everything now, services that we look for is basically all on social media now. Social
media's become like a search engine now.
Yeah.
Yeah. People, when they're looking for services, it's no longer just go to Google. They're using social media to, one, not just find the services that they want, but also verify that they're making the right decision. So in saying that as well, looking at your business now, what would you say is the percentage of new business that you get from traditional word of mouth or just from referrals as opposed to social media? Like, I guess that dynamic has probably shifted as far as you've probably got a lot more, would you say you've got a lot more business now coming from social media than you do traditionally?
Honestly, a lot of my work is word of mouth. A lot of people, you know, I do work for, they automatically just tell people that, you know, I provide a very good service.
Yeah.
And they just recommend me. But look, I would say probably 70% of my work is from social media.
Yeah, that's massive now. Like, to get you to have a big revenue stream coming in just through social media, you know, is huge. I mean, I'm guessing when you guys started with your brother, you probably weren't even thinking about that. That would ever be an option.
Nothing. I just back when I first started, we were doing Queen Victoria building at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Pressure washing. But that's, we had a contract back then. But obviously, it's where I am now. It's a massive dynamic. It's a big change. To pressure washing. Into concrete sealing. So it's a bit of a big difference.
Yeah, that's it's a big shift. So just on you said you get a lot of work through referrals, and I know because I've engaged not just because you're a friend, but because I always believe that you should be supporting your friends when you need services in something they offer, because I'd rather give the money to a friend than give it to a stranger. That's the way I've always thought. So just on that, and I know I can contest to this, but I want the audience to get an understanding, how important has it been for you to ensure that you've built a system when you actually apply your services and your products to the market or to customers, to make sure that you do things a certain way to get a certain high quality result. So like, how important has that been to your business?
It's been very important. You know, I mean, offering concrete sealing, you know, a service like that, it's something where everything, you know, is very important, you know, from the prep to the finish that you're getting, to the customer service, everything like that it's a massive, like it's pretty important to me and my business. You know, we don't rush any jobs. We don't book 2 jobs in a day. We always do 1 job a day. We take our time. We give the perfect finish that a customer should be getting, and we make sure that they're satisfied. And yeah.
Well, that pays dividend in the long term. That's why, you know, you said just before, you get a lot of referral business. If you weren't doing the right thing, these people wouldn't be referring you work.
Definitely not.
So just on that as well, like, I know when I look at certain industries, yours in particular, I guess the point of entry is very low. So in other words, what I mean by that is, if you've got a pressure washer, you've got a roller, and you've got a car, you could start a high pressure cleaning concrete sealing business, right? Right? It's the barrier of entry is very low, right? That's not to say that it discounts anything away from what you do, but I guess, and I've seen this in other industries, including marketing as well, where you get a lot of people come in thinking that they're professionals at what they do, even though they might not necessarily have the systems, the processes that you do to deliver the results that you do. So just looking at that, like, how important has it been to ensure that your customers are satisfied with everything you do from the second they inquire to the second that you finish the job and they pay you? What are the things that you did in your business or are currently doing that separates you from everybody else?
So basically what I'm doing now at the moment is we're putting out new content, which I've never done before. You know, now we've got pretty much a full-time content creator that, you know, comes to our jobs. We showcase, you know, why we're the best at what we do. You know, our prep is obviously the most important. Educating customers, why we have over 180 Google reviews. You know, just showcasing that, you know, my workers rock up to your job in, you know, uniform. All my workers are pretty polite. So we make sure that you're happy, and we don't do any shortcuts. You know, we don't come to your job, you know, pressure cleaning in Crocs, or we come in dirty uniform, or we come and work out of the back of a car. We don't do that. All our equipment's, you know, commercial grade equipment. We have 3 utes on the road. So.
Oh, I can contest to that. I just saw one of your utes when you pulled up. I don't think I've ever seen a work ute that clean in my life. So like, I know presentation's a really big thing for you, but just talking about one thing you just touched on here, which is the education part, right? For most people, including myself, before you kind of ran me through that process, I always thought, you literally just get a gurney out, you fucking spray some concrete and then roll on some sealer. Like, I didn't think there was much any more to it, right? Until you explained it, and also watching a lot of your content, talking about it. So how important has that content piece of your education been to dealing with new customers? So like, these people see your Instagram page, they see your ads, and then all of a sudden, you know, they call you and they're asking you a whole bunch of questions, right? How important has it been for you having that initial phone call, or how much more beneficial has it been for you having that initial phone call after they've seen that education content?
Look, it's been beneficial for us, because the moment they see the content, they see the finish that we provide, they see the prep work that we do, they automatically ring, ask for a quote, we give them a quote the same day, and they, you know, they automatically book us. Because they know that we're a trusted business. We're not somebody that just comes in and does shortcuts, or someone that doesn't have reviews. Feel they're trusted with us.
Steven, you know, we just spoke about you know, low barrier of entry into an industry, and we spoke about, you know, someone coming into your industry and needing a van, a pressure washer, and a roller, and they can call themselves a professional. So what are the problems that you've seen in your industry that you are trying to overcome?
Well, at the moment, what's burning me the most is that a lot of people, start up and they come in and, want to do what, other people are doing. I mean, nowadays, everybody's just copying everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone just wants to make money, whatever. The way that I run my business is, we obviously, like I said, we treat you like family. We do everything the proper way.
Yep.
For these guys, they come in, they just want to slap sealer on and make money.
Yep.
Doesn't work like that. I mean, if you really want to engage with a professional, I suggest you do some background checks, check their reviews, read their reviews, and all that stuff, and
and the content.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and I guess even with the content, something we spoke about is like around the education part of it. So with that, this is something for the audience as well. Like if you're going to engage someone for their services or their products, the biggest thing to look for is not necessarily what does the end result look like. That is obviously one factor to look at, but it's also looking at what knowledge base does this person have in that industry that makes them the professional at what they do. Because at the end of the day, anyone can show you a really good result online, and in person it looks horrible, but you would never know because everything looks great through a lens. But ensuring that the person has the knowledge base then backs up what the good work looks like too.
Correct.
Yeah. So you'd say coming in, rushing the jobs, probably is underquoting a big issue in your industry?
It is now.
Yeah.
Now it is. It's pretty bad because, one customer would go to one guy, that person will probably get quoted 1,500. That person will then engage with me, would come in at a price for, professional, proper prep, everything, coding that's going to last you at least 4 to 5 years, and we'll probably come in at $3,000.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, do you really want to gamble with your concrete and go with the $1,500 option?
Well, this is something we spoke about off camera, and this is something I wanted to touch on. I've just remembered now is, you said to me, I asked you, I said, what's it like getting those clients back to reseal their driveways? And something you said to me off camera was, it's actually harder than it looks, not because they don't like what I did. It's almost like I did it too good because, generally these sealers products, they give a 5-year warranty on them. You should reseal them after 5 years. But you're telling me, you're calling these people after 4 or 5 years to do a reseal, and they're like, I don't need a reseal. There's nothing wrong with the driveway.
Look, technically you're meant to reseal after, 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Dulux recommend 18 months.
Yeah.
I mean, we just seal their driveways or whatever spaces they want, and then honestly, I don't hear back from them. And you think all right, maybe I should give them a call and see if they want to do a recoat or a maintenance coat.
Yep.
Honestly, they don't. And it's been like 4 years, 5 years. And they told me, no, we're happy with our sealer.
That's a testament to the quality of what you do. Like, you almost do your job too good.
I do.
Yeah. So this is just something you touched on before about not necessarily going for the cheaper quote. Like at the end of the day, if you know that you can pay a little bit more money for something, at least I do, if I can pay a little bit more money up front and it's going to cost me less money in the long term, you're still saving.
100%.
Like if you're resealing your driveway every 18 months because it's maybe not done with, it's done with an inferior product, or it's not done with the right prep, that's a lot more money over a 5-year span than having to just spend $3,000 or $2,500 or whatever it is once, and then maybe 5-6 years later you're resealing that driveway. To me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Yeah, so sometimes investing the money up front makes a big difference in the long term.
100%.
Yeah. All right. So we've spoken a little bit now around where you started, where you've come from, how important social media content has been for your business.
Yep.
What I want to, I'd like to know this, and I know the audience would like to know this as well. You've grown this business very fast. You're at a place now where you're not just operating in one state, you're operating in multiple states now. So what are the issues that you've had, or what are the hurdles you've had to overcome in the last, couple of years as this business has rapidly grown?
Well, look, along the lines, we've had we've had companies reach out to me.
Yep.
Seeing the amount of volume that we use in concrete sealer. They reach out, they want us to use their brand, they promise us the world and everything. And, we're all about supporting small business too. So I don't mind supporting small business, So we've gone through, I think, 2 or 3 other brands that, we supplied and we used on customers' houses. Unfortunately, one of those brands actually backfired on 6 of our jobs, which I learned the hard way on. So from there, that's when we automatically switched back to using Dulux. We rectified all those jobs, under like half was our expense, the other half was from the company.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just the headache of rectifying all those jobs again, because the customer's not happy, due to either like the colors being mixed up or something like that. But the only reason I use Dulux is because we're the best at using that brand, and I will not switch again to another brand. No matter how much Dulux or Vista is, we'll pay for it. Because I can guarantee quality with that.
Yeah, well, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, at the end of the day, people spend a lot of time and more so money on their homes because that's their baby, it's their pride and joy. Generally, it's the most expensive financial decision you'll make in your life is purchasing a home. So whenever you are spending money on that home, you want to make sure that the money is well spent. Even if it's at least for myself, like even if the money's a little bit more than what maybe I was initially anticipating to spend, you want to make sure that the end result is what you've paid for. You might save $1,000 and get someone in that uses a cheaper product, but you're not necessarily going to get the same result, are you?
Definitely not.
So just on that as well, like what other hurdles besides, I guess, the product? I know you've touched on that. Like what other hurdles you've had to overcome in your business?
I mean, look, we've had a lot of mistakes, during our concrete sealing process. I mean, we always show the good side of concrete sealing, but there is a bad side too. We could go to a job, we could, accidentally step on our bucket or tip a bucket, get paint on a wall or something like that. And that's something that no matter what, we have to rectify.
Yeah.
I think it was probably about maybe 4 weeks ago, we did a house in Uguna where one of my workers put the bucket of sealer behind me and I accidentally put my foot through it. So all that sealer ended up on the back wall, on the door, and the wall was rendered too. So the first thing I did was pick up the phone and I mentioned it to the customer. And I assured him that we will rectify it and we will fix it no matter what it's going to take. Whether I had to re-render the wall, repaint it, whatever it is, we rectified it. And that's just the way business is. We don't make mistakes and expect to get paid and that's it.
Well, I think that's the bit that most business owners really need, that sometimes forget is like, they're so focused on growing the business and making more money and everything that, and that's always the content that you see online. But people have got to realize that sometimes things fuck up. And when things go wrong, as a business owner, you need to own that. And it's never always going to be perfect. And you need to, when things bad happen, you need to be there to rectify the problem.
110%. Yeah. I mean, you get that one-star Google review. Runs your business down.
Yeah.
That's one thing we don't want. And that day, I actually went back the next day, rectified everything. We even paid for the wall. I even concrete sealed that area that we needed to rectify as well. The back door, we cleaned it all up, everything, and that customer left us a 5-star review. Why? Because we went back the next day, we rectified everything, we made him happy. That's the main thing. That's
really important. Like to something you just said there is like that. The cost of that 1-star review, you can't put a price on it.
No.
Like your goodwill in your business is worth so much more than that 1-star review. And I understand that sometimes customers can be a bit difficult, or they could be, it sometimes might not be, you might be the customer. But at the same time, working through that, handling those objections is so important.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I guess where we go from here is like, what's next for Steven and what's next for on-demand high pressure cleaning?
Not sure. Still building.
Still building.
So
like I know now you're now in Queensland.
Yes.
Now on the Gold Coast.
That's right.
Which so how have you managed that, like with time and family, and like how's that? I'm guessing it's probably had its challenges.
Look, well, I've been doing research. There's literally no one in Melbourne that's basically doing concrete sealing.
Melbourne or Queensland?
Melbourne.
Yeah.
There's no one doing concrete sealing in Melbourne. So I sat there and I thought, should I expand out to Melbourne? A lot of people do clear sealer there. No one really does color sealing. So I thought, should I expand out to Melbourne? Then, I looked into Queensland and I thought, you know what, the weather's a bit better there.
Yeah.
So,
A little bit more predictable.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, why not go to Queensland? I mean, it's a quick 1 hour trip,
Yeah.
by plane. It doesn't affect, the works that I can do. And I really do want to deliver my services to other homeowners. So why not go to Queensland?
Yeah, construction up there seems to be booming at the moment. So there's a lot of state incentive up there to be building homes. So, and also and there's a lot of money, construction money moving up there. So it seems like the pretty obvious thing to do by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very much today for sharing everything with us, Steven. And I've got a couple of questions for you before we sign off today.
Sure.
So the first one is, looking back at where you've come from and up until today, what is one, and the things you've learned along the way, what is one thing you'd probably want to tell yourself 5-6 years ago, starting out in this, that you've learned along the way that would have definitely helped?
Oh, not too sure actually. I mean, I'll probably take my time more on jobs and not rush things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
So just probably tell yourself to be a bit more patient.
yeah.
Something a lot of business owners aren't, including myself, is we're not patient.
No.
We want everything yesterday, and it's got to happen yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a big thing. So thank you very much today, Steven, for being on the podcast
Thanks for having me.
And sharing a bit of your story. And we'll definitely leave Steven's details below in the bio, and we'll tag him in this on YouTube. So make sure you give Steven a follow. And yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.